Honestly, I can't see anybody winning but Pogačar. I think the only thing that can happen is bad luck, crash, mechanical. I don't even know if a mechanical can stop him.
Yeah, I don't know. Hi, I'm Spencer Martin, along with Johan Bruyneel, and this is Outcomes.
Outcomes is not an online gambling operator or a gambling site of any kind. We are simply here to provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. It is a responsibility of all visitors to this podcast to check current local laws in their area or country before doing any gambling online. It is your responsibility to know and follow your local laws in place. Although we try best to provide accurate information on Outcomes, we cannot be held responsible for any inaccurate or incorrect information which is mentioned on this show. If you place any bets based on the conversations on Outcomes, you confirm or understand that it is possible to lose some or all monies used when betting on sports or doing any gambling. You cannot hold Outcomes responsible for any such losses. Our podcast is here to provide entertainment and should be viewed as that and nothing more. Thanks for tuning in.
Everybody, welcome back to Outcomes. We are predicting the Giro di Lombardia, Il Lombardia, Tour of Lombardia, however you want to say it. They change the name on us every year, it feels like. 255 kilometers from Bergamo to Como in northern Italy, kind of weaving up through the Bellagio Peninsula, the last monument of the season. I'd say the last real race of, large significance. But I will list off the favorites on Unibet in Europe. I'll call it better prices when I see them on the U.S. books, and then we'll get Johan's take on how this is going to play out and who is going to win. Tadej Pogačar is the favorite at minus 335. Tom Pidcock is the second favorite at plus 1,200. We just found out he's not racing, been pulled out of the race by his team. We will talk about what happened there and what we think happened and how that's going to affect the race in a minute. Remco Evenepoel plus 1,400. Adam Yates plus 2,000. Mark Hirschi plus 2,500. Matteo Jorgensen plus 3,300, Ben Healy plus 4,000, Enric Mas plus 4,000, Andrea Baggioli plus 5,000, Florian Lipowitz plus 5,000, Simon Yates plus 6,600, Roger Adria plus 8,000, Pavel Sivakov plus 8,000, Roman Bardet plus 10,000, Pello Bilbao plus 10,000. Some of these sound appealing, but we'll get Johan's take on if that's even worth it. Johan, how do you think this is going to play out and who is going to win?
Well, I guess this one, Spencer, is pretty straightforward. You know, after everything we've seen in the last few weeks, after everything we've seen this season, and especially taking into account the parcours, the route of Giro di Lombardia, Tour of Lombardy, 252 kilometers, climbers, and on top of that, the big favorite has won this race already 3 times, and he is in the shape of his life, Tadej Pogačar. Honestly, I can't see anybody winning but Pogačar. I think the only thing that can happen is bad luck, crash, mechanical. I don't even know if a mechanical can stop him.
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends at what time of the, at what moment of the race, and if there's a spare available. And then, as we've said a few times, one of the things that could happen is that Pogačar attacks early and runs out of gas. It almost happened a few years ago, I think, when the last time he won, I think he was on his own and got cramps at the end. So, I think that even that he has improved on. Tadej Pogačar, the big favorite, minus 335. So not good. But I can't see who can beat him. I mean, as you said, Pidcock is not at the start for some reason. I mean, he just published on social media that he was deselected from the squad. So something must be going on there, or something has happened. I don't know. But he has, put it in a way that he makes it sound like there's a problem between him and the team. And then Remco Evenepoel, I saw his press conference today. He has no confidence at all. He says that, which was really surprising to me. He said that it will be a success if he finishes the race. So that's not a good state of mind to start the Tour of Lombardy at the end of the season against Pogačar. So Pogačar, big favorite.
Yeah, I've never seen odds this bad for a one day, minus 335. And what's crazy is that's with Pidcock in the equation. So if you're listening to this, like, run out and you have access to Unibet, this is the best price you're going to get, because in the US on BetMGM, which is the only book I could find it listed on in Colorado, at least. There's no Pitcock, and Pogačar's at minus 500. So that's the future you're looking at over in Europe once they adjust those odds. But yeah, I don't actually, I was looking back. Pogačar's won this the last 3 years. It's actually kind of interesting to go back and look. You kind of, it gives you an appreciation for how good he's gotten. So in 2021, he wins the Tour, wins Lombardia for the first time. It outsprints Fausto Masnada. I think people have forgotten that happened. Masnada should just like put up a plaque in his house. Like, I got second on the same time as Pogačar in a race. 2022, he doesn't win solo again, has to outsprint Enric Mas. 2023, he's like, yeah, as you said, he was cramping. He's kind of like, maybe I should start riding away solo. He still wins by 52 seconds over Andrea Baggioli. He's better this year than all of those years. Actually, if you think about races where he's been reeled in, recent ones, I think it's just the Vindigo Tour stage 11. Other than that, I think he has stuck every attack he's made in the last 2 years, I believe, unless I'm forgetting something. But here's the big reason I think you're right, and that Pogačar will win, even at those terrible prices. This race, it's pretty interesting because they change it up. Sometimes it's Como to Bergamo, sometimes it's Bergamo to Como. There's always a different permutation of the climbs along the lake. They've added, I don't remember this. Maybe they usually come down it, but there's a long climb. It is, I've got to expand this out so I can read it. It's 13K long, 6.5%. I think the Strava KOM is around 32 minutes, or it was 32 minutes. So that's that's like a Grand Tour mountain stage climb. And that tops out 42K from the finish. So if you think,
and that's I mean, I haven't looked at the detail. Sorry, Spencer, I haven't looked at the details of the course change. But this climb is in it, right? The Colma di Sormano.
Yes, it's still in it. The changes relate to the. I don't know if you're out of the loop. There's been a lot of rain in northern Italy. Apparently, there was some mudslides, but that's from 37K into the race to 55K into the race. They've changed a few of the climbs, and then they changed the finish away from the water. But the hard, important climbs at the end, at least at this moment, remain. And that's important because there's no one currently except a fit Jonas Vindigo who could stay with Tadej Pogačar over that climb. And it tops out close enough to the finish. He could just, as Larry Warbass said on the cycling podcast this week, that's easy for him. 42K with the descent, like he can hold that off, no problem. He did this climb yesterday, just shaking the legs out. Fastest ever time on it by, it looks like about 2 minutes, 1600 VAM, 420 watts for 31 minutes. Not a big deal. That was not too hard for him. So I think that that's where he's going to sit tight. UAE is going to control the race. He's back in with his strong UAE team. Even with the depleted Slovenian team, he made it work at World Championships. So with him having UAE, with this climb being there, I hate to say this, but I don't think there's anyone that can stay with him. And I think the most important thing is there's no one in the race who thinks he can stay with him. And so I think he rides clear there. He probably wins. And then it's a dash for second and third, which frankly is the more, I guess, like bountiful, fruitful betting prospects. But yeah, Pogačar, even at minus 335, I'd take him.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know if we can choose someone else, Spencer, to take the win. As I said, accidents can happen, mechanicals can happen. So then it's a matter of, okay, who's going to win? And, if something would happen with Pogačar, it may well be that the winner would be another UAE rider.
Yeah, Yeah, and even if the race gets crazy, imagining the craziest thing, like, they're not chasing the breakaway. Like, there's a chance that someone like Mark Hirschi's up the road and benefits from that. Yeah. Versus like Pogačar's not going to let some break that doesn't have his teammate in it right away. He's going to chase that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and then the question is, okay, let's suppose another scenario, a breakaway goes and Hirschi is in it. Then what? Will UAE set a tempo?
That's a good question.
Will Hirschi just sit on? Or, I mean, it's a guy who's leaving the team. Having an opportunity to win Lombardia would be amazing. The question is, if she gets in a breakaway, who else is there, and what are how cool can they play it? That's another reason why Pogačar, for example, wouldn't win if he has a teammate in the breakaway, in an early breakaway, and they don't chase it down, and nobody else wants to chase it down because they know that if they bring it back, Pogačar is going to drop everybody. So you would be crazy to chase it down.
Yeah, logically, that's how it would play out. But I mean, didn't you Little Trek was driving the pace at Emilia going into that climb? It's like, what are you guys doing? You're going to get crushed by Pogačar. So in theory, yeah, I could see that happening. Hershey is plus 2,500. If you're going to pick a wild card, I guess that's not the worst one to pick, especially if you think it's an upset is an inside job. That would be the one to look at. Hershey, I kind of like Hershey at plus 2,500. I really like him at plus 500 for the podium because let's say Pogačar's up the road, he can just sit on. He doesn't have to do anything, and then he can just snipe people for those podium places.
I'm a bit concerned about Hershey and the distance. However, he's very good in races that are between 180 and 200 kilometers. I haven't seen him do much in monument distances, 250, 260.
What about World Championships?
World Championships, yes. He was, yeah.
It is, yeah. I mean, that is a valid criticism. He does not look the same in those ultra long races now that I'm looking at his Palmares. I mean, there is someone in this, as I said, no one will think they can win. There's one person in this race who's crazy enough to think they not only can they win, that they probably should be the favorite. You mentioned them as your podium pick, but Leonard Van Eetvelt plus 10,000. I don't know if I love him at plus 10,000. He will try to go with Pogačar when Pogačar attacks. He's plus 1,000 for the podium though. And
Leonard Van Eetvelt would be, I mean, listen, winning is almost impossible, right? Plus 10,000. I think it's worth a shot. Plus 1,000 for the podium. I'm gonna put money on that. It's a bit, people could be surprised about this, but he started really in good shape in the Vuelta, then he abandoned halfway. He hasn't raced since, but I checked his Strava. So he's been on the Teide in Tenerife at altitude until 3 days ago. So obviously, with the objective of preparing Lombardy, there's almost nobody who does that. I don't think there's anybody who has done this kind of preparation. And he took a KOM off Tadej Pogačar in Tenerife on an 11-minute climb. He had the best time. We did a little calculation. It's over 7 watts per kilo, 7.4 watts per kilo, I guess. So obviously he's in great shape. His morale must be through the roof. Plus 1,000 for the podium. Leonard Van Eetvelt, I like that one. That's a really good one.
I like that a lot. That might be my favorite bet of this whole race because I got discouraged last night. I pulled up the old sports book and just closed it. It's like, I don't know. If the gambles, you put so much money on Pogačar, but Van Eetvelt for plus 1,000 for the podium. That almost feels, and I guess what you're saying is he's been absent. So maybe people don't know. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. People don't know how he's going to be, but he is so fit right now. And I was looking up Van Eetvelt. How has he been in long races? 236K, San Sebastian, third place earlier this year. Do you know who won that race though? Mark Hershey. That's getting up to a monument distance. So actually it makes me feel a little bit better about.
That's true. Yeah. I forgot about that one.
So
it was Hershey and Alaphilippe, right?
Yeah, I think everyone forgot about that. Yeah. That was not the. It was sandwiched in between the Olympics and the Tour. I don't think that was the most highly rated San Sebastian. But so I like Hershey at plus 500. You like Van Eetvelt at plus 1,000, and these are to podium, not to win. It's kind of amazing how long some of these odds are. One other rider that I like, I don't know, to win. Plus, if I had to pick a wild card to win, it would probably be Matteo Jorgensen plus 3,300. But he's plus 3,500 to podium. And he's another rider that we know will try to go with Pogačar.
Plus 350.
Plus 350. Yeah. We know he'll try to go with him. If he can get over that long climb, I mean, it's not going to be a big group or complete group. he's someone that is proven to be strong enough that he could, and there's another climb towards the finish. So it's not like he has to go out, sprint a bunch of people, but he's proven strong enough that he could be a podium threat here. +3. I mean, these are like the big class riders, right? Hershey, Jorgensen, Van Aert might be a little oddball there, but I do think he's a really class rider having a great season. So for the riders who can survive the Pogačar blast zone, I think those 3 are probably your best bet. Hey everybody, I want to tell you about a new sponsor we have here at The Move, which is Here.com. If you've ever been frustrated with hearing loss, Here.com is exactly where you need to go. These guys are the real deal. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, a 4.9 rating at Consumer Affairs, and over 500,000 people are already loving their super tiny, super powerful German hearing aids. 500,000, that is a lot. And the glowing reviews keep rolling in. Take Jerry, for example. He wrote in saying that the in-home exam made everything so convenient and his new devices are extremely comfortable compared to the old ones. Or James, who called working with Here.com a total win and said it's one of the best investments he's ever made. The best part, with insurance, flexible financing options, and 100% money-back guarantee, Here.com makes getting great hearing aids super easy. So if you're ready to stop saying what and start hearing the world again clearly, now is the time. So right now at here.com/move, not the move, our listeners can sign up for an exclusive 45-day no-risk trial so you can hear the difference for yourself. So what are you waiting for? Head to here.com/move. That's HEAR.com/move, not the move today to get that offer. All right, now back to the show.
And then another guy for the podium also I would like to look at is Florian Lipowitz. Primož is not starting, so he's the leader of the team at Red Bull, and he's +550 for the podium. He got reeled in at the last moment in Emilia, but he looked really strong. So, it's this. I mean, there's no secrets. It's all the same riders you see in the last week in Italy. These are the guys that are in shape. It's guys that are physically still in shape and especially, mentally are still super motivated because, this last week and especially Lombardy, there's so many riders at the start that just have to be there. They don't want to be there. And so I think Lipowitz is a guy who'll be very motivated even for a top 5 or a top 3. So I +550 for the podium, that's a good one.
Yeah, so we like Pogačar to win, -335. Hershey, +500, podium. Jorgensen, +350, podium. +350, podium. Lipowitz, +550. Van Aert +1,000. And if you're not in a market that lets you bet these guys for the podium, I think mathematically you should even just bet them for the win, because even if they don't win, like you just put a small number on them. Like you could do small numbers on Van Aert, Jorgensen, Hershey, Lipowitz. And if one of them wins because something happens to today, you're going to make a lot of money, even with a small bet, because these odds I've never seen odds this distorted for a one day.
Yeah.
Is there any, and I don't think you can do head-to-heads. I've been looking at these head-to-heads.
Listen, especially Spencer for Lombardy, I would really not advise anybody to do head-to-heads because it's so. Obviously things have changed a lot, but there, as I said, there's a lot of riders who don't want to be there. So as soon as somebody sees that he doesn't have the legs, it's okay. Where can I take a shortcut here to the finish line?
Yeah, because you actually get pretty close to the finish line, and then you have to keep climbing. I would imagine some people just keep going. It's funny. Larry Warbaugh said the same thing about that. Like half the field is really motivated, half doesn't want to be there. I guess the trick is, and I don't think that's something that a casual fan would totally appreciate, that a lot of the riders here are like not happy they've been sent to this race and they just want the year to be done. You just have to figure out who that is. Remco Evenepoel seems to be one of those riders, which is why we didn't pick him. Now that we have our predictions done, quickly, what do we think is going on with Tom Pidcock? We talked about this earlier in the week. George said I can't believe George Hincapie said those things about Tom Pidcock not winning enough races.
What did he say?
But no, I just saw an article about George Hincapie slamming Tom Pidcock. I said those. It was my quotes, but George got blamed for it.
Oh yeah, people thought that you were George. Exactly.
Yeah. I can understand why they would be confused. They look exactly alike.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I mean, I have no idea. I'm super surprised. He looked in good shape. Finished second in Emilia. Was motivated, and now he comes himself with this statement. So obviously there's no love lost there. It seems like, we've seen the rumors that he's looking for another team. I know that he has been told that if he finds another team that he's free to go, which, it's not great. If your team says that, it's like, okay, they don't want me. But the thing is, who can pay him? We've talked about it in the Move Plus. Who can pay 4 or 5 million? But something must be going on there. I just saw an article saying that his agent said that because there's rumors that he has been fired on the spot. That's just going on now on social media. His agent says that's not true, but that he has been deselected from the team for Lombardy, and no reason was given. So, it's not good. It's not definitely not good. There's a lot of things going on at Ineos. We've already said that many times. And so this is just another one which doesn't stop surprising me. We've all seen that Steve Cummings has been put on the side. Also, no reason given. We don't know what's going on there, but there's definitely a lot of tension inside of the team. And so this is just another one of those incidents. Having one of the co-favorites, or at least a podium candidate for Lombardy, and they all of a sudden send him home. So something must have happened there.
Yeah, to me, this is the wildest thing that's happened because, as we saw, he's very fit, like really fit going into a race that suits him incredibly well, and they just pull him off the start. I don't think it doesn't really make sense that they would have fired him on the spot because he's a contract through 2027. So what are they going to do? Like, pay him? Can you imagine the money they'd have to pay him out if they fired him?
I don't know. Maybe there's been some kind of incident if they really want to get rid of his contract and the cost of his contract, and there's been something going on, an incident or a conflict, you can terminate contracts immediately based on, how do you say that? Like big fault, like a major incident, So maybe they want to take advantage of that and say, okay, let's just fire him, and let's save 50 million bucks.
We're veering into the Move Plus territory, but they did have a big meeting in London this week. So I don't know if that's one of the strategies they came up with in that meeting. They need to shift that over to Man United. But I guess we probably will have answers when we do another episode of that on Tuesday.
I think I'll dig around a bit. I'll have an answer for you in the next hour.
All right.
I'll send it to you.
I'm excited. Excited to find out. I'm very curious to see where this goes. We should say the race is on Saturday. The Italian races are always on Saturday. It can throw you off. And it is on Max in the US. I believe Max in Europe as well, or Eurosport, whatever service you have. They're the same one, basically.
Well, Eurosport is Max now over here. So
yeah, Max on your app, Eurosport on your TV.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Johan, do you have anything else to share before we get going?
No. Well, we know that Tom Pidcock is not going to win Lombardy. That's for sure.
No, he will not. And if you see him on the odds boards, run out and bet on Pogačar, because those odds will just get worse the moment he is taken off and all that money shifts over to today. And there will be a move of some sort with some people on it after the show on Saturday.
Tomorrow after the race.
All right. Well, thanks, Johan, and we will talk soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye.